DEPHEMEREMBER Day 2. Let's do this! Welcome to DEPHEMEREMBER, a collaboration with Louisa Heinzel to make ephemera in December. So we're on day 2. If you don't know what DEPHEMEREMBER is about, please check the playlist below, in which you can find an info video with all the relevant information. So I'll open today's paper bag. So this is what it looks like. Again, there is a video of how I made this also in that playlist. Let's check our animal freebie and our snack. So today's animal is a giraffe. And more importantly, our snack. Filming these videos in the morning is a challenge because I haven't had any breakfast. So my snack is my breakfast. Not an ideal situation, but you know, when you have a YouTube channel, you have to make some sacrifices. So today we have mochi from Taiwan. Apparently they're strawberry flavored. I know mochi, but I don't know this kind of mochi. So let's see what they taste like. So there's 2 little packages like this inside. And this time I want to open this more carefully because maybe I want to use the packaging in one of my prompts or on another journal page. So I'm not just going to tear it open. I will cut it with my scissors. This is what they look like. Let's try one. Oh, I love the squishiness of them. Very interesting. Thankfully, they're not very sweet. This is what they look like inside. I wouldn't even need the filling. I would be happy with just the outside mochi part. They're good. They're chewy, they're yummy. And you can use the packaging to mix paint, like for splatters or something. One thing I have to say is, if I wouldn't know that it's supposed to be strawberry, I would not taste the strawberry taste. So my rating, from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, I'll give this a 7. And also I realized I didn't really show you the paper bag from yesterday, so that's what this looks like. I am so happy with this, how this turned out, so I wanted to share that as well. Let's get to it. So today's prompt is splatters and a playing card. By the way, if you don't have these yet, you can find the links to download these for free below as well. So splatters are obviously no problem for me whatsoever. And if you are someone that doesn't like splatters, then you just leave the splatters out. You just do what makes you happy and what works in your journal, if you're even using a journal at this point. Also, the giraffe is optional. You do not have to use a giraffe. You can use another animal, another focal point completely, or just leave it out completely. You make these prompts work for you. When I think of playing card, automatically, of course, we're going to think of cards like this. I think these are from a flea market. They have this beautiful vintage patina. But today I want to divert from that a little bit. I love cards. I collect cards. And I looked through my stash to see what other options I might have. I came across this set here. I think I might have bought this in a museum once. It's an alphabet pairs game illustrated by the British artist Paul Thurlby. And I think I gave one set away, so I don't have the pairs anymore. So I can't play the game anyway. But I think I still have most of the letters of the alphabet left. I think they are super cute. And since our animal card today is a giraffe, let's go with the G, which is graffiti on this card. And on the back, they're all the same. They look like this. And the inspiration for today's prompt for me came from this book here. I've shown this in previous videos. I will link this for you. It's also available in English. This is a German version and it's a very cool book. It's meant to be kind of like an art book. And you can take out the bird images on the top, and then on the bottom you have all the information about that bird. So if you do that for all of the pages in the book, you will have something like this, which is so cool. So the pages look like this. Let me show you one with a bird. So the pages are like this, and then you can just take the bird out. And then you have the bird from both sides. Obviously, you're not meant to take the pages out of the book. But these are really great to use because also if you just cut out the bird itself, you then have the freedom of deciding how you want it in your journal because you have both sides available. So you can choose which way he should look. And these books are also available with different images. I've seen butterflies and there were a couple more motifs available. So check out those links below if you're interested in those. But to do that, this giraffe is a bit small for me. So I'm going to use a different giraffe. If you watch my channel regularly and you've watched my 5 digital items swap videos, then you will recognize this printable. So this was from this summer. It was a fun collaboration with Louisa Heinzel and Rhonda Winstead, where we each designed a sheet with digitals as a freebie, and we had to use those items to make something for our journal. And there are special instructions that we each had. So I think this giraffe here is perfect for this project. And in order to make this work, to have the giraffe double-sided, I printed the same image again, but flipped. I will show you here how to do that. So what I do is, so you see the image here, and then I go on File, Print, and then where it says here Preview, I click to Layout, and then here it says Flip Horizontally. I just click that, and then I click Print, and that's it. So that's what it looks like on an Apple computer. On a Windows computer, it will probably look a little bit differently, but hopefully you can figure it out from seeing this. So this is a freebie. I will link it for you below. And now I'm going to cut out both of these giraffes. By the way, I will also link the playlist with these videos in case you want to watch that. And maybe you want to give this a try if you haven't already. It's so much fun. So I've cut these both out, leaving a narrow white border around them. I tried my best to make it the same width. So now when we face them back to back, they should pretty much match up. If they don't, after we glue it together, we could still kind of adjust it, but it helps to be precise from the start, of course. Okay, but we're not going to glue them together yet. So the idea is to glue them onto the card, something like this. So put the card in between, and then we attach this to the journal so that we can then flip the page and we have the giraffe on both sides. I do want to alter this card a little bit, so I'm going to start off by roughing it up a bit with some sandpaper. This would also work with a coarse nail file if you don't have any sandpaper. I'm just gently going to go in circular motion. So this is what it looks like. I've done it on both sides. Especially if you have a glossy playing card, I would definitely do that. If you don't have any sandpaper at all, you can also just add, for example, matte medium or clear matte gesso on top. The reason why I wanted to do this was because I'm going to be adding some colors onto it, and the card grabs it a lot better after I have sanded it down. So my plan is to put it this way into the journal. I've already checked that it has the perfect width for my pages, and I'm going to adhere it on this side here. So I want to attach it with fabric. I have this thin fabric strip here. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces, which are approximately the same height of the card. I would not take a fabric that's too bulky, because that's going to make it harder for your journal to close. So if you don't have thin fabric, then a really good alternative is masking tape. You can obviously also use washi tape. But if you use washi tape, make sure to add some glue to it, because washi tape does not stick permanently. So now I'm going to take some glue. I have textile glue, but you can use any kind of glue. And I'm going to take a brush and brush it on. I don't want to add it directly because I don't want any globs coming through the thin fabric. Then I'll glue that on there. Like that, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. Like that. And this here stays open because this is what we're going to glue into the journal. And I wanted to do this now before I add anything else because I don't want this to stay white. If you want your fabric to stay white, then do this after what I'm going to do next. Next, I want to glue these giraffes onto our card. So I'm going to start by just gluing them on the top. Like this. And then we can stick them onto the card. Maybe we should check on the journal page how we want the giraffe positioned. So this is Louise's beautiful journal. And I have already picked out a page that I want to put this on. Which I lost now. Here we go. It's this one. So this will go in like this. And now we can decide how we want our giraffe on this page. Yeah, I think like this would be good. So we can glue the rest on. And on the back as well. By the way, I should probably mention, I printed this out on 200 GSM cardstock. If you don't have thicker cardstock to print on, just print it on regular copy paper, but then mount it onto some cardstock because you do want this to be stable. Next, I want to add some stenciling. I'm going to use this one here. Maybe you remember seeing this if you've seen my paper bag video. This is one from PM Artist Studio. This was sponsored, but I love this. I think this is my favorite one of those stencils. This one and the bigger version of it. And it's called, let's see if I can pronounce this, Aqueous Effervescence. And I can also provide you with a 10% discount for orders over $30 US. And there's also free shipping within the US for orders over $30 and internationally for orders over $125. They have such fun stencils, definitely worth checking out. I will obviously link this for you below. I'm going to start with this fossilized amber distress oxide spray. If you don't have sprays, the alternative is to just use acrylic paints, for example, and either a sponge or a brush. You could even just use your distress oxide pads. You could maybe first add white gesso over it. There's so many things you can do. Make sure to shake up your sprays first if you're going to do that. And then I'm going to try some frayed burlap. Yes, I said it correctly. And this time I want to be sure to get some over here on the fabric as well. And lastly, I'm going to add some forest moss. And then I'll put the stencil here on my packaging paper because this is going to give me a great piece of collage fodder. So cool. So now I'm going to dry this and I'll do the same thing on the other side. Oh, maybe I should add the stencil first. And I'll just add some here on my packaging paper because I'm definitely going to use that for collaging. Look how cool that looks. I love it. And the braid burlap. Now I said it wrong again. And lastly, the forest moss. I could have also just done that in the journal instead of putting it here. Oh well, hopefully I'll remember next time. I love that the giraffe has some of the stenciling on it as well. So that kind of integrates the giraffe more into the card. And I also love the fact that it says graffiti here and we can still read it, and our spraying looks like graffiti. So this is going to go in here. And I want to cover up this part here where we clearly see the cutout. So let's do that by adding some of Louise's scraps. Oh, I just see that now. This is this beautiful Braille paper. I wish you could feel that. So I think that would work very well. I'm happy with that, so I will glue that down. And this here also looks like graffiti, the stamp that Louise used. And now I want to do the same for the back side. I'll use more of this graffiti. Perfect. There's that side. What I'm noticing is that even though the sprays are dry, it's coming off. So what I'm going to do is add some matte spray over it to make sure that that won't keep coming off. I have this here from an art store. It says spray film matte. You could also use hairspray. I've done that a lot in the past as well. So I'll do that with both sides and dry that. So it's a couple of hours later and I have coated each side twice with that spray film. So it's better now. The next thing I want to do is I want to put something over this flower. It's super cute, but I want something that is raised a bit, something more tactile. So I want to go through Louise's scraps again and choose some papers that I can use with a punch. This, I'm not sure. Maybe I should show you the punch first. So this is the punch I want to use. And of course I have to put it on the front and the back side. But they don't have to be the same. Actually, it's cuter if they're not the same. To keep it more interesting. Oh, this is gorgeous. I think there's some embossing glaze on here. Oh, wow. Okay, I need some of this for sure. And I want not just one color on it. So cute. And this piece, of course, we can use somewhere else. Okay, then I need 2 more. This would be nice. What a beautiful piece. Look at that. Wow. Louisa, you have the best scraps. So I'll take one of these because I don't want them to be the same. Oh, this is very thin. So in this case, because there's a good chance it will jam my punch, which is no drama. You can always fix a jammed punch, but better to not jam it in the first place. I just added another piece on the bottom, so this way it will punch better. So that can go on one, and then we need one more. Should we take this or this? No, I actually think this would work better. Again, this is super thin packaging paper. So I'm going to put this other cardstock underneath. So I'll just glue these together, 2 and 2, with the gold on top. And then we can glue it on the giraffe. Very fashionable hat. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So now I'm ready to glue this into my signature. So I'm going to decide where I want this to be, on the bottom in my case. And then I'll just put some glue, and because it's easiest, I'm just going to spread it with my finger. And then I'll glue this part of the fabric down. Make sure I'm right in the middle of the signature. Then I see I need more glue. And then I can glue my second half down. And now it very easily flips over. Then I want to make her look even a little bit more special. And I want to make all her brown pattern here gold. You can do it with a marker, you can do it with acrylic paint, with watercolor paint, but I'm going to do it with embossing by using this embossing pen and my gold Hero Arts embossing powder. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over all of the brown spots, and I think I need to be quite quick. And it would have, of course, been so much smarter to do this before I had glued this piece in. But it will be okay. Will it? Yeah, it will. So if you do it with embossing powder, please do it before you glue it in. But it seems to have worked just fine. That looks super cool. I am very happy with that. And another element we are missing from our prompts is, of course, the splatters. Now, I could just splatter like I usually do with my paintbrush, but I'm going to splatter with water and then the same embossing powder. So I'm just going to squeeze lightly because I just want like individual drops and not huge puddles. I'm very curious how this will work because I've never tried this with this matte spray over it. Then I'm going to dab them because I don't want it super wet. And this is where I don't know if this is going to work. And it might be that the thing is sticky. Let's just see what happens. I could be ruining the whole thing right now. That did not work. I don't know if you can tell. Okay, this is perfect. There's some beautiful spots there. But I see the powder is pretty much everywhere here. So it's not what I wanted. I can brush a little bit away from the graffiti here because I don't want to cover that. I'm just going to heat it up and we'll see what it looks like. So it's not quite the effect I was hoping for, but having said that, it actually turned out pretty cute. You see the splatters here, a little bit here, and here. That's okay, I can totally live with that. So I'll do exactly the same thing for the back side off camera. Okay, so let me show you the other side. There's her neck, and here's the splatter. So these are kind of like all over the place. Really not what I had intended, but okay. I learned something new. Don't use embossing splatters on this matte spray. I think it's a really fun addition to a journal. Could add a quote or something, but I won't do that now. So prompt number 2, splatters and playing card. Check. I'll see you tomorrow. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.